Hey, football fans, Brian Sweeney here, voice of the Women's Football Alliance National Championship game. And this week, we will talk Week 4's Game of the Week when the Dallas Elite Mustangs welcome the Houston Energy on the road to Canton, the WFA's championship weekend, July 23rd and 24th at the NFL Hall of Fame Stadium. Absent last week, my co-host Emery Hunt is back. Welcome back, Emery.
I'm glad to be back. And this is a great time of the year because you have spring sports wrapping up or just getting into swing, but we have women's tackle football to talk about, and we're in a prime part of the season. So I love to see these women get out there, get after it, and just do a great job out there competing down in, down out.
So before looking ahead to this week's game, the WFA will be highlighting a player of the week each week this season. And for week 2, we honor the quarterback for the Cali War, Chantel Nino Wiggins. With back-to-back trips to the national championship, Nino Wiggins shows she is ready to take the road to Canton this season and bring home a championship. In week 2 against the Sacramento Sirens, she threw for 310 yards and 5 touchdowns, ending the game with a 150.8 quarterback rating. 2 games into the season, she already has over 440 yards in the air and 8 touchdown passes. This week, Cali travels to the Nevada Storm, who are also undefeated in the 2021 season. During last weekend's Game of the Week between the Boston Renegades and the DC Divas, Dee Scott of the Divas suffered a season-ending injury that will require multiple surgeries and rehabilitation. Dee is an amazing athlete and the only Diva player to become an All-American in 4 different positions. If you wish to contribute to the Dee Scott Medical Fund, please go to the GoFundMe link on the Divas Facebook page.
Football is a game that's played by many people for many different reasons. And recently, Brian had a chance to catch up with Houston Energy head coach Brian Wiggins, as well as a couple of players, Emerald Ford and Cameron Chapman, to talk about their love for the game.
I'm joined today with the head coach of the Houston Energy, Brian Wiggins, along with Catherine Chapman and Emerald Ford. I want to thank the 3 of you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us. Truly appreciate it.
So now you guys had a great game last week. Was it 53-0, I believe?
52 to 0.
52-0. All right. And now I think Emerald, are you a line person?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then so tell me a little bit about that. What brought you to the game of football? And were you lured to be a line person, or was it something that you dreamt of when you were younger?
First and foremost, I had a high school coach. I seen her in the Baytown Sun, and I said, "Hey, you play football? I'm playing basketball at this time." And she says, "Yeah, I play football, but you can't play. You're not old enough." And I was like, "Yeah, right. Yeah, I can play." And I think she told me, I was too young, and I was like, "Oh, that sucks," or whatever. But I was like, "That's pretty cool." And then I think time went by. I graduated, and then I don't know, it looped back around, and I was like, "Hey, that's that team," And sure enough, it happened to be the same team she played for, the Houston Energy. And Brian knows his story too. It's Renee Cosby. That's her name, Renee Cosby. And I think she played running back for the Energy and linebacker. I'm not too sure, but she was a big lady, and looked like she was running that ball. So I was like, that looks pretty cool. And so that's the short end of it. And I just joined the team, and I've been with the team since 2012. I think I look back. And it's just been my family. This is all I really know, especially in my 20s. All I know is the Houston Energy. All I know is really Brian, So, we're a family. A little bit, I guess you could say, so to speak, a little bit more connected on defense. I play on the defensive side of the ball. That most of the time, I play defensive end. So we're pretty banded together, and like you see that with that 52-0, that defense is pretty strong,
And Catherine, what's your position with the team, and what brought you into the game of football?
Well, this year I have a new position, and I'm the center this year. I've played right guard and left guard the last few years. I lived in Fort Worth for the last 20, 21 years, and I've always been into sports, and I was playing hockey up there. And when I moved back to Houston, just trying to find something to stay active. And I've heard of the Houston Energy when I was living in Fort Worth when they'd come play the Dallas Diamonds and stuff. So I kind of, looked around the internet, saw when they had a game, and went out there and watched them. And probably about a couple weeks later, Brian had posted that there was a tryout, and just went out there just to, give it a shot. And sure enough, here I am 4 years later playing on the team.
And so you've mentioned then that you were kind of recruited by Brian, or you saw Brian put up an ad for players. Brian, that would lead me to believe then that you're not new to coaching this team, and you've probably got quite the tenure, and you've helped develop a lot of players such as these. What keeps you coming back every year?
Brian, I've been at this for, close to 20 years now. Energy's been around since 2000. I became a part of the Energy in 2004. A lot of times in my hashtags, I'll say hashtag more than football. A lot of these ladies come to play football for many different reasons. You have students, people who are working, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, wives, mothers, the whole nine. Some are ex-athletes, some are not. We come together because of football, and we become family. And obviously nobody's getting rich in women's football, but it's just a relationship that you build along the way. Football for some of these ladies is an outlet, and I'm honored to be able to provide that outlet for them to come out and play a sport that they love, that they probably, most of them, were not able to play when they were little. And I'm affording them an opportunity to do something that they've dreamed of doing. And it just keeps me going. Like I said, nobody's getting rich, but it's just a gratifying thing for me to be able to provide an outlet, an avenue for some of these ladies to play football.
Catherine, I can relate to your comments about hockey. I've probably announced almost 400 hockey games in the last 7 years. So I know a lot where you're coming from. So what did you take from the ice and bring it with you onto the football field?
Just the intensity that there is, obviously in the adult leagues, we're not supposed to hit as much as the NHLers, but it's the grind. It's, you practice the way you play. And that's what I love about it. I love the intensity. I love every minute of it. And like Brian said, it is a family. You want to play for your sisters on the team. You want to play for your coaches. And that's what it is. Just coming together as a family. And, my rookie season, we won the championship. And since then we've been grinding to get back at it. And there's nothing that any of us wouldn't do for one another to get back to Canton, in July. And that's just, what I take from both of them. You can see hockey players, they get hit in the mouth with a puck, lose some teeth, go to the bench. They come out and they're right back on the ice. Same with us here on the football field. We get pounded, and, we're not like the pros. You go over to get taped, and we had a player who had her shoulder popped out just last night, popped it back in. She was right back out there, playing both ways. So there's a bunch of similarities between the two sports.
And Emerald, you played basketball, you said, and then
Yes.
you went into football here. You look at the stadium behind me, that's a little larger probably than any basketball court you've ever been on. And I'm sure you'd love to see yourself there this July. What do you do to keep your mind mentally ready for the game each week?
I guess you can say I get, locked in with myself, meditate, make sure I'm eating right, make sure I'm having, plenty of water. A lot of people know I drink Pedialyte before a game. That's my thing, just preparing my body to just be right. Work out during the week, just doing all I can to be available to the team. Making sure everything in my, family, whether that's, love life, whatever the case may be, it's all pretty intact and stuff like that. Like all my relationships are pretty good. And if they're not, I'm lining them back out. So, everything in my life is just aligned the way it needs to be so that I can perform, the best of my ability for my teammates and my coaches.
And your full-time job, Emerald, because obviously, as Brian's already stated, nobody's getting rich playing women's football, unfortunately.
Right. I'm a safety facilitator at a Shell lubricant site here in Houston.
Okay, so you probably use a little bit of that safety knowledge on the field then, where you kind of know what to look for and who's going to be in your way and how to push them around.
Yeah, not just that though. I'm quick to be like, "Hey, coach, you take her out. She looking a little hurt."
Catherine, what do you do when you're not on the field?
I'm a warehouse manager for Royal Cup Coffee.
Okay. And Brian?
I'm the SVP, Senior Vice President of Strategic Growth for Guaranteed Rate Home Mortgage.
So, and I think that's one thing I want to make people aware of is, we have coaches and players that are out on the field, practicing between tryouts and the games. What month do y'all hold your tryouts for the Energy each year?
Typically the season will be over at the end of July, and we'll skip a couple months, and then we usually have a tryout once a month, starting if it's in July, August, September, late October, November, December, and that's 3 tryouts, and we'll start really getting after it as far as practice with the veterans in November. Maybe practice once or twice a week. December, and in January we may have another tryout depending on what our numbers are looking like, and then we're after it. We're in full pads by February. We're still working on football stuff, but we don't get into pads until February, and then we're off and running. But even though we're in full pads, we still get people who may have missed a tryout, didn't know about the team, and they'll reach out to us and want to come participate. And we accept everybody, so we're not going to tell them, hey, you can't come out just because you missed a tryout. So we always could use an extra body out there because we don't have hundreds and hundreds of people at our trials. We may get 20 sometimes, we may get 5 sometimes. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. So we got to, if they're athletes, we definitely will give them the opportunity to participate.
Certainly. Now, ladies, if you wouldn't mind, think back to your rookie season. Catherine, you said it was about 4 years ago for you. And Emerald, I guess I didn't catch how many years you've been playing.
I've been on the team since 2012. I took a year off because of work, but if I'm not mistaken, it's been since 2012.
So think back to your rookie season when you went to that first tryout that Coach Wiggins just talked about to where you are today. Are you getting everything you had hoped out of playing for the Houston Energy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's like, we're really a sisterhood. That's what it feels like. Like if I have a problem, I know I got a gang of women coming to, help me out. Whether it's, it could be anything. It doesn't matter. And it really starts with the top. It really starts with Brian. Brian will help anyone on this team. Anyone. That's just him in general. So I guess it just like they always say, it's always from the top, and it just kind of just trickles down to everybody in the organization. So absolutely. I think the most important thing is that I feel like I have a family outside of my family. My family might not be as connected in certain areas. So when I go to football, it's like, hey, we're here for, one goal, and we're all here to maybe escape and have our outlet, like Brian says. And that's just what it is, So absolutely.
And you, Catherine?
I think I've gotten a lot more out of it. Because you always, going through playing sports, you have that friendship, but, like Ford said, it's a family. If I ever have an issue, I know I can always call Brian. Brian's right there to, give you life advice or whatever you need. It's not just about coaching, and Ford knows we text back and forth, hey, how's your day? How's it going? If someone notices at practice that you weren't, something wasn't wrong, something was wrong, everyone's just there to uplift you. So not only do you get, the fun of playing, but you earn that family. And, there's a couple of people that have moved out of state that aren't with the team anymore, and we're still connected, still sending texts, how you doing, meeting up for, when they come into town, meet up for dinners. And that's just something that you can't ever imagine that that's exactly what you're going to get. And I've gotten a lot more out of this team than, what I originally imagined.
Well, great. I want to thank the three of you for spending the last few minutes with me discussing just how much this team means to you as far as not only on the field, but off the field as well. And I wish you all the best this weekend in your big matchup against Dallas, it is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So good luck this weekend. Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you behind me in Canton, Ohio at the end of July.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Ron. Truly appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
That was a really fun interview. I think that so far this season, one of my favorite things is getting the opportunity and sit and talk with the players and coaches and learning about them personally. Let's look at this game. Both teams play in the Midwest Division of the National Conference. Houston at 2-1 plays Division 2, and Dallas 1-1 is playing in Division 1. These teams met twice in 2019, with Houston winning both matches. Dallas ended that season at 4-4. Houston with 6 wins and 2 losses, including a loss to the Mile High Blaze in the playoffs. What do you think we're going to see this year between these two teams, Emery?
A ton of speed and a ton of athleticism. I know every time we talk Houston Energy, we're talking athleticism, but Dallas has some dogs too that can really get out there and run step for step with a lot of these women that they're going to see out there on the perimeter. So for me, if you're Dallas, it's all about trying to zig when Houston is zagging. You want to come in and change up the tempo a little bit, throw some wrinkles out there early in the game, try to catch the energy off balance, and then get back to playing Dallas elite football toward the back end of the game. But it's going to be tough because you look at Houston and what they can do from a matchup perspective. I've said this before. They're able to match up across the board athletically, and they toss out a lot of different formations at you. They try to out-scheme you, out-formation you, and it makes it really tough for you to communicate out there on defense. So they're going to challenge Dallas's ability to communicate. If they can disrupt that time and disrupt that communication and get those young ladies out there talking amongst each other, not in a productive way, it could be a problem for them. So it should be a great game. You should be able to see the speed and athleticism that we talked about ad nauseum for both teams on both sides of the ball. So it should be another one outstanding matchup, another one of these outstanding matches we get in the Women's Football Alliance.
These teams are both going to be featured twice this season in Games of the Week. Houston played back in week 2 when they lost by just 1 point to the Arlington Impact. And we will see Dallas again in week 8 when they travel to play the Minnesota Vixen. I feel this game's going to be closer than what we have seen from this matchup in the past. And you can watch it on For the Fans Network. Follow For the Fans HQ on Twitter and Instagram to find out where you can watch the game. Remember also to follow the Women's Football Alliance on all social media platforms. And if you want to get tickets to the Hall of Fame weekend, July 23rd and 24th in Canton, Ohio, head on to www.hofvillage.com and click under links and events, and you can get tickets. For Emery Hunt, I'm Brian Sweeney. We'll see you next week on the road to Canton.